22 years since the dawn of our democracy, many underprivileged communities are crying foul about police conduct. They've accused them of using procedures that bring about disproportionate outcomes for black communities. 2 separate rape cases in Tokai and Khayelitsha caused uproar on social media. Police officers have been accused of prioritizing the case of 16-year-old Francisca Blocklicher, raped and killed in Tokai Forest. They are said to have nothing to apprehend the killers of 19-year-old Sinokolo Mafevuka, who was raped and killed near her home in Khayelitsha around the same time. In the Blocklicher case, her family says the police were called in and they moved swiftly, throwing in all the resources possible to crack the case. At the same time, the family could afford to hire a private forensic investigator and offer a reward in the region of about 50,000 rand for anyone who came forward with information. They wanted justice for their teenage girl.
Well, I've just been to the post-mortem to have a look at my daughter, and I can tell you one thing. It's unbelievable what you see there. It's not that they only hurt her or killed her, but they really, really hurt her all over the face. Everywhere her body is unbelievable beaten. So this was not just a case of stealing, robbing, killing someone. It's been much more than that.
48 hours after Francisca's death, 2 suspects were arrested in connection with her murder. The case is currently before court. A slight victory for a family who has lost a loved one at such a tender age. Too distraught to deal with Francisca's death, the family has decided to leave the country. Sinokolo Mafevuka's family in Khayelitsha on the Cape Flats knows the pain only too well. Around the same time Francisca was raped and killed, their 19-year-old daughter's body was found in a communal toilet, also raped and killed, just a few steps from her home. For the Mafevukas, hiring a private forensic investigator was not an option. Offering any kind of reward for information was not even a thought. Not only did they lose a child, but now they also need money for the burial. For a whole week after their child's death, police are said not to have made contact with them. Not a single statement was taken from the family. That week, they could not rely on police to assist them in finding their daughter's killers. Procedural malpractice, or simply no justice for this family? Did they not matter? It was not until the Deputy Minister of Police stepped out of Parliament and attended the case herself that things start to happen.
What annoyed us is the fact that it seemed as if the police focused only on one case, the one in Tokai, which is Francisca, and not on Sinokolo. No one knew about Sinokolo. No one knew that we have similar case here in Khayelitsha. Only the police themselves knew about that. They communicate everything. They came up with arrests of suspects with regard to the other case in Tokai. But when it comes to Sinokolo, we didn't hear anything about arrest. We didn't hear anything about some witnesses. We didn't see anything.
We feel very sad because the police didn't inform us about what happened. And it took so long because Sinokolo died last week. And then it took a long time but they come today because of the minister was here.
Khayelitsha community members say this is not new. There are many other rape and murder cases in the area that have fallen by the wayside. They claim there are simply no resources to service the area and accuse police of having a slow response rate in these poverty-stricken areas.
Insult to the over 12 million black people who are staying in informal settlements. So we are demanding to SABS to develop a plan on visible policing in informal settlements. Thirdly, we request or we require SABS to come up to redistribute police resources, especially in black communities. Because when you compare Camps Bay to Khayelitsha, you find that Camps Bay has more police resources in comparison to Khayelitsha. And yet, in the last 10 years, there were only 6 murders in Camps Bay. In Khayelitsha, in the last 12 months, there were 325 murders. And yet, Camps Bay has more police resources than Khayelitsha. And yet, Camps Bay has more competent and has enough ample police resources.
2 weeks later, 2 men were arrested in connection with Sinoxolo's death. The case is currently before court. For this family, relocating is not an option. Every day, they are faced with seeing the very place where their daughter's body was found. Their only hope now is that those who have the power to find and bring to book those behind Sinoxolo's death will do so. 22 years since the dawn of democracy, South Africa continues to grapple with a lot of issues of race, class, and privilege. The Department of Police says police colleges continue to train police in order to increase resources and to ensure that justice is distributed equally to all South Africans. Nomawatu Solwandle, SABC News, Cape Town.